In this video, we're gonna catch a fun and easy summertime species, the kingfish. No, not this, but this. Let's get into it. Kingfish, or otherwise known as whiting, sea mullet, roundhead, or minkfish, are part of the drum family, which includes black drum, red drum, weakfish, croaker, and spot. There are three main types of kingfish: northern, southern, and gulf. But in New Jersey, we most commonly see the northern kingfish, whose scientific name is Mentaceras saxatilis. Their distinct features are the prominent dark lines along the side of their body, the barbell under their chin, and the long dorsal fins on the top of their body. These fish can be found from Maine all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico. The northern kingfish, however, is more commonly found from the Chesapeake Bay up to New York. Kingfish are schooling fish and prefer hard or sandy bottoms. They mostly appear in the shallow surf from April to October. The average size for this fish is 10 to 14 inches and from around ½ pound to 1.5 pounds. They have a quick life cycle, only living from 2 to 4 years. These fish will spawn in the bottom of bays from April to August, and the eggs hatch quickly. Eggs will typically hatch in 68 to 70 degree water in 46 to 50 hours. After hatching, they grow quickly as well, reaching around 11 inches in as little as 4 months. Kingfish feed on the bottom, mostly eating crustaceans, shrimp, worms, and mollusks. Their strongest predatory senses are their sense of smell and touch, and they will predominantly use both to find food. These fish have a flaky white meat when cooked, making them great table fare. So with that said, let's catch some kingfish so we can cook it up later in this video. Our bait of choice today are these fish bites, and it kind of just looks like strings of like bubble gum, and it's got like this mesh material on the inside, so it makes it pretty tough, helps it stay on the hook a little better. So as you can see, yeah, it looks like a string of bubble gum. So what I do is I just take some scissors and then cut a small piece off of it and then string that on the hook. The other baits that you could use are clam, you can use sand fleas, and you can use bloodworms or sandworms too. But I just find this to be a little easier to keep on hand at all times. As for rigs, we've got a pre-tied rig here. You can buy these at the tackle shop. We've got basically a high-low setup. We've got these really small straight shank hooks with these floats on them. So there's 2 of them here, 1, 2, and then a pyramid sinker at the bottom. I've got a 3-ounce on there right now just to see what the surf's doing. You could definitely go lighter if possible, but we're going with a 3. Also, this is the bloodworm fish bites. There are different types. I know there's like sand flea too. I think there's a clam imitation, but kingfish do love the bloodworms, so we just string one of those on there like that, and it's super easy. Like I said, it's going to stay on the hook pretty well. But you could also put multiple baits on here. You could put clam and a fish bite to top it off, or a sand flea and a fish bite, and so on and so forth. Right now it's high tide, so I don't have to cast too far, but the kingfish will literally sit right in front of me in these troughs and these cuts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cast out kind of towards where that wave is breaking, just a little bit. And then I'm gonna let it sit for about like 3 minutes, and I'm gonna hold the rod the whole time. There's 2 other ways that you can fish for these guys. The one way is you can throw on a bank sinker and then reel it all the way back in, or you could put some circle hooks on it and set it in a rod holder. I like holding the rod just because the bites are quick and I feel like I can hook them better. If you're not getting any bites within like 15-ish minutes, then it's time to move either up or down the beach. So I only move about like 50 or so yards. So if you could count out about 50 strides or so and then set up again. What's most important with these fish is you're trying to find the schools of them. So you want to keep moving. You don't want to just plop yourself down in one spot and then run the risk of never catching anything. So we're moving up the beach and we're going to see if there's any kingfish in this next spot. So after about 5 minutes, if you're not getting any bites, pick up the sinker and reel in just a little bit, get it a little closer to you, because sometimes the kingfish will sit literally right at the lip, right in front where these waves are crashing right here. I'll let this sit for about like another 2 minutes, and then if I don't get anything, I'll cast out again and do the same routine. I moved up the beach 2 separate times. It took me until the second spot to get on fish. Someone came up to me and was asking about what I was using, and right as our conversation ended, the first fish bit.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good one.
I just want to make a note too, the lighter the rod, the better. This rod I'm using right here is rated for 5/8 to 3 ounces, so I'm able to have that 3-ounce pyramid sinker on there, and it's pretty versatile. But later in this video, I will be using a lighter rod, which is preferred to feel the bites.
Oh, there we go. There's one. I didn't think I actually hooked it. That's a good sized fish. I don't know what it is about these guys. They're super slippery. Here we go. First kingfish of the day. This is a pretty good size too, so I'm going to throw this in the bucket and we're going to keep it. Here's what's great about the fish bites though. These are pretty much unscathed after catching that fish. Definitely getting bites out there.
Here you can kind of see the mesh netting type material that's on the inside of the fish bites. This is what helps to keep it on the hook, and it works really well. If you look at the rod tip, the waves are pulling and bending it, which sometimes may seem like it's a fish, but right here you can see how the rod tip shakes instead of pulls. That's a bite, and that's when you'll set the hook. I missed this first bite, but let the fish come back and bite another time before I finally hooked into it.
Long-awaited bite. It's another good-sized king.
Once again, these fish are very slippery, but I find that if you hold them near their head, they're a little easier to handle.
So there we go, number 2 on the board, finally. It took about a half an hour to get this bite, so hopefully now there's more out there. We're gonna keep trying, and this one's going in the bucket. So when your rod's out there, it's gonna be a little tough to detect the bite sometimes if you're not used to what it feels like. You're gonna feel a lot of pulling from the waves in kind of a rhythmic motion. The best way I can describe what a bite feels like is if you hold your rod, you either have someone help you with this or do it yourself. You hold your rod and just right by the tip, just tap it like that. That's what a bite should feel like. It'll feel kind of erratic. So once you start to feel that, then it's time to set the hook and reel in.
Every now and then, it's important to give the rig some movement. I'm slowly lifting up the sinker, and sometimes just that movement alone can entice the fish to bite.
Yeah, there we go. It's a smaller one than before, but we're still getting fish out there. It's a good sign. I'm gonna stay in this spot and keep getting on them. Woo. There we go, small king. Let's get him back. Another one. This one's fighting pretty hard. Oh, got off in the wash. For the most part, kingfish are a daytime species, so you could fish for them pretty much any time during the day. Any tide, high or low. It just depends on where you're going to cast it.
Like I mentioned before, at high tide, you don't have to cast far. Cast out toward the front edge of the first sandbar. Then you'll work your rig back to the lip of the beach. The fish will sometimes hang out near the sandbar where the water churns up food, the deeper middle portion of the sandbar, or by the lip of the beach where again the water is churning up their food. If it's low tide and the trough in front of you is very shallow, cast out past the sandbar and into the deeper water beyond it. This may require you to walk out a bit to get the proper casting distance.
All right, I wasn't sure if I hooked it, so glad to know that I did. There we go, another kingfish. Sometimes when I'm leaving it out there too, I'll lift the rod up, move the waiter a little bit, give it a shake, you know, a little jig, reset it. Sometimes that helps entice the fish. And I got a bite right after I did that and turned the GoPro off. Let's see if it comes back. There we go. This is redemption for that fish that I missed before. Nice. Another small guy. These fish are very cool looking. They've got this really cool dorsal fin, and on the side too. Oh. And on the side too, they've got really unique coloration. Let's get them back in. There we go, another fish. Feels kind of small. Another nice kingfish. This one's a lot more paler in coloration. So I just wanted to come out here and show you a different method of fishing for kingfish. I've got a lighter rod here and a 1 ounce bank sinker on the bottom of this. Same rig. And what we're gonna do is just cast it out and slowly reel and drag it back in.
I'm just reeling really slow here and trying to find those fish. With this method, you're finding the fish versus having the fish find your bait. I do both methods from time to time, but it just depends on what I'm feeling.
Here we go. Right in the wash. That's a decent sized kingfish right there. All right, we are gonna end on a good note there. We're gonna head home and fillet up these kingfish so we can get them cooking. Catch you back there.
I love fried kingfish, so we're frying these up with a quick and easy recipe. I found these Zapp's pretzels, and if you've ever had their chips, they're delicious, so I wanted to try using them as a coating for the fish. First, I'm crushing up the pretzels in a bag. Then I have whisked eggs, flour seasoned with salt and pepper, and the crushed pretzels. We're going to put the fish in the egg, then the flour, back in the egg, then in the pretzels. I also did a few pieces plain in just the flour and egg and not the pretzels. Repeat this for all your pieces and you're ready to fry. Get your choice of grease nice and hot. Then drop the fish in the oil and get them golden brown. And it's really that easy to get your kingfish cooked up into a delicious meal. Now let's give it a try. That was super easy. It took me less than 20 minutes to make all those. So now I'm gonna give them a try. I made one just plain style with just flour, salt, pepper, and the egg. So we're gonna give that a shot first. It's good. It's like, you know, very, very basic tasting fish. Flour mixture, that's all it needs. It's really, really flavorful otherwise. So now I'm gonna try the one with the pretzel mix on it. Let's give it a shot. It's pretty good. I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, the flavor of the pretzels kind of went away in the when frying it, but otherwise it's delicious. It's got a nice crunch to it. The fish flavor still comes through. And yeah, that's really good. I may try that again, change it up a little bit next time. To recap, here are 3 easy tips to remember. 1. Cast in at deeper troughs between sandbars. 2. Every now and then move your sinker and rig, whether it's by jigging or lifting the rod. 3. Keep mobile and move up and down the beach if you're not getting bites. I hope you learned something new today. If you've never tried targeting kingfish before, I highly recommend it. It's a really easy and fun fish to catch. The bite for them is getting better, so now's the time to give them a try. Let me know in the comments how you like to catch kingfish and how you like to cook them up. As always, I want to thank you for watching. I hope you learned something, and I will catch you on the next one.